Mighty Panther. Have you ever considered putting in a kitchen garden? I've always liked the idea of having a garden that's right outside, right where we cook, and it's very accessible, so you can go right out from the kitchen, go out into the garden, and you can get fresh herbs and lettuces and, small things, not field crops, not huge, massive things, but the little bits and pieces, like having a little bay tree and having some chives and having some herbs and medicinals that could be used for when you get a cold or when you're sick or when you need to heal a wound or something like that. So you've got your kind of medicinal and kitchen garden right outside the back of the house where it's readily accessible. Well, that's what we're putting in today. I don't like raised beds. I don't even know why I made these things in a moment of weakness. I mean, it's dumb because lumber costs too much money. But here we are, taking them out. Leave the 53rd comment below and we'll mail you a raised bed. I like my regular old beds, just mounded beds with mulch in between. I don't like how the weeds grow around the edges of them and anything, but that doesn't matter. Those are going out. There was a little square bed here for starting transplants, and we had over here a bunch of rocks right along this that we did to begin with, because I made the mistake of looking on Pinterest. I should never look on Pinterest. I looked on Pinterest, and so I had this little swoop of rocks, and it took us like 2 days to put in a small couple of pieces of pathways. Well, here are the pathways now. Look at that. We yanked them all up because I realized I want to do this whole area, and I had this idea. This is our forever home. We could make the most beautiful, Pinterest-worthy whatever. And then I got about 2 days into it and said, I'm tired of hauling rocks around and trying to level out each piece of construction debris. So instead, I went back to my old standby, which is just to make mounded beds. These are 4-foot wide beds with 2-foot wide pathways. When I decided to plan this out, after my first abortive attempt, I thought, how can I make this space make sense? What would really make sense through here? How would traffic flow through here, and how would it work? So I got a gigantic ladder, and I stood on top of it, and I looked down. And having that overview of the space gave me some ideas, and I realized we almost had some 4-foot wide beds in here, and a couple of things could be connected, and a central pathway could be built, and we could make this little network of beds here that would work. Just having that perspective of being able to look down on it was really useful, and I took a few photos on Rachel's phone and then looked at them and thought, there it is. Now it's manageable, and now that there's an overarching plan, we can just bite our way through it piece by piece and finish these beds and mulch them, and then mulch the pads eventually, and it's done. And then when we climb up on the ladder again and look down on it, it'll look awesome. This is a little different from the grocery row gardens, where we would have 4-foot wide beds with 3-foot wide pathways, and occasionally even 4-foot wide pathways, because we've got trees in them. We don't really have trees in here except for this little moringa, which is asleep right now, which will cut back repeatedly as time goes on. When that gets uncovered, hopefully it's still alive after that 16-degree night that we had. But these beds here now will have plenty of space for the herbs. So I took out these that were along here, and you can see over there that pile of raised beds. All those raised beds are out, and now we have mounded beds. So these are still technically raised beds, but they're borderless raised beds. 1, 2, 3, and then we have this central 2-foot wide walkway, and then 1, 2, 3 more over here. Some of my younger children here, my daughter helped her younger siblings put in a little patch of wheat right here. They asked Rachel if they could have some of her wheat berries to plant, the ones that she normally grinds up for bread, and so they planted this little patch here. But this is 3 beds that we are building, and the pathway just ends here, but eventually the pathway will cut right there, and this will be a bed, and this pathway will cut right here. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and back here beyond it, this is where we're putting in our spring potato crop. So the potatoes, I tilled this area up, put manure and some ashes on it, and I'm going to till this area up too, which used to be a raised bed, and we'll have our intensive stuff right here where it's accessible. If you're going to install a kitchen garden, think about what you use regularly and what you don't want to have to walk very far through the rain to get. So if you want to, say, put a little bit of tarragon on some fish that you're cooking, and you have to walk 300 feet to get it, and it's drizzling out, you're probably not going to do it. So this would be as close to zone 0 in permaculture talk as we could possibly get. It's the first patch of cultivated ground outside of the back of the house where you can walk out from the kitchen and get what you need. And because it's right here, we're likely to spend more time on it and give it more care. We live around this area. We go out to our grocery row gardens back there, and we walk through here from the front yard to the backyard. So this area gets a lot of traffic. Every morning we go out over to the chickens and care for them. So this area is an area where everything is going to get watched. And it is also beautiful to just see a whole bunch of herbs. And this will be a no-till system now that we've tilled it once and mounded it up, that we can just steadily improve the soil in. So pretty much anything we put in here is going to do excellently. So far we've got rue and rosemary and mint and oregano and thyme, celeriac, yarrow. We have some cannas and some gingers buried in here. We've got comfrey, catnip, some more thyme over there, some green onions, some onion chives there, and some garlic chives, and strawberry, and chocolate mint, sage, and then buried in here are a couple of turmeric plants that I got from Randall at Flomaton Famous. So we haven't even really gotten all the way into doing these beds yet. Once these beds are all popping up, there's a whole bunch of culinary herbs, but we've still got 3 more beds we can fill full. So Rachel is making a list of the herbs that she wants for culinary and medicinal purposes, and those will all go in here. If you're going to install your kitchen garden, just think, where is the closest spot that gets some sunshine with decent soil, decent drainage, that is as close to where you cook as possible. Make it easy on yourself, and you're much more likely to actually go out there and snip a few things when you're making an omelet in the morning, rather than saying, yeah, it's too much trouble. Just take into account your own natural laziness. I do, all the time. All the time. And I had a bunch more to say, but yeah, we're good, I guess. Thanks for joining me. Catch you all next time. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as this shows up in the spring and really starts to grow and look beautiful, we'll come back and visit it, and I'll bring you along with me. Until next time, may your thumbs always be green. Have you considered putting in a kitchen garden? You know, a garden that's near your kitchen, which provides various things that you might want to cook with, like herbs and tobacco.
Go ahead.
Holy cow, it's tight. Okay. There's a dot on that. There's a right in the middle. Like a thing is on it. Like a small insect died. All right. it's still there.